What's up everyone, it's Austin here from Make Pop Music and Austin Hall Audio and Visual, and we are back with another tutorial this week. And this week we're going to do something that you've all been requesting over the past couple weeks, and that is how to make an Ariana Grande style song updated. So we did one of these a couple years ago when she released her last album, Thank You Next, and it is still the best video on our channel. It's the highest performing, it's the most liked, it's the most free downloads that we've ever done. So I figured since her album came out, why not go ahead and honor that by doing an updated version. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the elements that she uses throughout her new album Positions and how to incorporate those. And then we're just going to work our way to making a song that would sound like it would go on the album from scratch. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. We will be moving kind of quickly because there is a lot that we have to go over in this video. And if you want to see more stuff like this, let us know in the comments below. If you do like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. It'll help us out a ton. These videos take a ton of time. So whatever kind of support you can show really means the world to us. If you want to head over to our website, makepopmusic.com, you can check out all of our samples, courses, presets, blog posts, other videos, free downloads, all kinds of stuff. But without further ado, let's actually hop into the DAW, and we're going to look at some of the songs on her actual album, kind of look at the tempo, some of the key features, and then we're going to see how we can include those in our track that we're going to make today. All right, now we're actually on the computer. The first thing I want to do is kind of show you this little chart that I made. I kind of went through and listened to the album and took kind of the rough tempo and then wrote kind of the style of each song and then some of the elements. And this kind of helps me figure out, especially for a lot of you guys, what kind of vibe we're going to be going for. So the tempos ranged anywhere from like 65 to 145. So really, like, if you doubled these, it would be like 130, 160, and then everything just kind of in the middle there. A lot of them were super R&B driven. So what we're kind of going to focus on in this video is doing something similar to like Positions or 3435 or 630 or Nasty, where they're super R&B driven with the chord progressions and with some of the strings and plucks and stuff like that. But we're going to have like the trap drums and the 808s and stuff like that. So we're not going to be doing something similar to like Off the Table that's super kind of low tempo R&B, kind of smooth, sexy. So I just wanted to kind of show you this because this is a nice little exercise if an artist has an album come out and you want to kind of dissect that. This will kind of show you how you can start kind of structuring some of your own productions. Now that we've kind of discussed what styles are through the album and kind of what we're looking to do, the first thing that we need to do is get a chord progression. So I'm just going to pull up a piano real quick and just lay something down. So what I like to do is just kind of find a general chord progression. So I've just got a nice little piano right here. I'm just going to go ahead and lay down something right now. So cool. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Super simple, nothing super crazy going on there. All right, so I got these chords here. I'm just going to copy and paste this a few times. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to kind of swap the instrument over to something like a Rhodes or something through Easy Keys. That way, A, I can break down what exact chords we're using. And then B, a lot of the album is going to use some of those kind of retro key sounds. So you've got like your Wurlitzers, your B3 organs, you've got like some Rhodes, all kinds of stuff like that. So what we'll do is we will drag this down here and let's see what we got. F major 7. So lots of 7th chords. That's something you're going to hear a lot in Ariana Grande songs. This chord right here, this D minor 7 minus the 5, that's really what kind of gives this that Ariana Grande sauce and just makes it not, you know, a straight C major kind of chord progression. So just adding that one little kind of off note in there does a lot for the actual kind of vibe of giving it that R&B jazzy flavor. And then we're back to just kind of standard A minor 7s. So we've got that down now. I think the next really important thing to do is go ahead and start like finding some actual strings, because that's kind of the main element through most of this album. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the East-West kind of library that I have. I noticed a lot on the album she's using cello and viola. And typically what she's doing is she's using solo players. So there's not like these massive string sections. It's just something a little bit more kind of subtle. Let's see. Let's go ahead and throw some RC20 on this to give it a little bit of flavor and color. That's something that I'm seeing her kind of do a lot. We'll leave a little bit of the noise in there. Turn it to follow so it doesn't keep going. Turn the tone up so it's a little bit higher. And then we're gonna filter out a little bit of this high. I kind of like the way that this high roll-off works. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that so we can get a cello in there. So this is a viola that we have right now, which if you're not familiar, the way that the kind of string quartet will work is there's like bass and contrabass, and then your cello, and then your viola, and then your violin. So viola is like third up to the top. So when we go in with this kind of cello, what we're probably gonna do is let this work on some of the lower kind of chords and let that viola kind of carry some of the top. So let's go to a solo cello. I'm noticing a lot of like vibrato in her album. A lot of the strings have like this really, really hard vibrato. So let's check this. I'm definitely going to want to flop that around because I don't want it on the same side as my viola. I kind of want to have a little bit of stereo spread. All right, so I'll go ahead and solo out this viola. So you'll see that we just kind of changed around the chord voicings. And then we have the cello, and that's kind of got its own chord voicings. And I did go ahead and I threw on some extra little EQ, so we're just going to boost the top end, and we're cutting out some kind of nasality, ringiness that's in these cello and viola. So now we've got this kind of Rhodes, and we've got this viola long and this cello long. I went ahead and renamed them long because I'm sure we'll have some shorter stuff come in eventually. All right, so the next thing I kind of want to do is I want to go ahead and start adding some extra little plucks, because I do notice on her album she kind of has these like kind of spacey, ambient, not quite electronic, but not quite organic kind of pluck sounds going. So we're going to pull up Serum and we'll go to some plucks. We have a new preset pack coming out on Black Friday, well, for our Black Friday sale. So we'll go ahead and go to, let's go to like this Island Kalimba, because it's very simple. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take from the Rhodes right over here. And let's see what we got. So I think what I want to do for these is I want to actually loosen these up so they're not hitting right on. And we get kind of a little bit more fluidity. So what I'm going to do is turn my snap off and then just kind of go in here and finesse this. And then I kind of want to put like a lead melody over top. That way we just have something more than kind of these sustained big bar chords. So and then let's go ahead and cut this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finesse with this, and I'll kind of show you guys what we get. So here's what we ended up kind of getting for this. And that's just going to give us a little bit more movement and variation, and it kind of adds the idea of a real player in there. And then I kind of want to go ahead and process this, so we'll throw on some RC20. These are the settings. Not really doing anything crazy. And then I think I just want to throw on a delay. Went ahead and threw on repeater, so we've got an 1/8 note on the tape delay classic, and we just filtered it out a little bit. So. And then I went ahead and did some EQ, so we'll turn that on. So I'm really liking what we have here. We're starting to at least have like this kind of lead melody. Let's go ahead and listen to all of these together. Let's turn down the Rhodes and turn down these violins a little bit. Cool. It's starting to feel like an Ariana Grande track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this pluck, and we'll get a couple extra layers in there just to add some depth. So we'll go back into Serum, and let's try, we have like a Distant Memories preset. Yeah, I think that would work out really well. Same kind of thing, just a little bit different. So it's just going to give us a little bit of a higher kind of vibe. So we'll call this Distant Memories. Let's take this down an octave, I think. All right, so now we got these plucks layered up. I went ahead and dropped one extra one that I actually just made. It's just called Medium Coffee. It's basically kind of in the middle of this Distant Memories and Island Kalimba. So you do have kind of just the the vibe of that kind of sine wave, but it's got that square over top to give it a little bit more definition. And all three of those coming together are starting to make the perfect bed. So I think the last thing that I want to go ahead and add is just a little pad underneath for some sparkle. So we're going to open up Anna 2, and I'm pretty positive I have a preset in there that will work perfect. That's actually got this like kind of bell chime noise layer over top. Let's try these. All right, I'm going to turn this Rhodes off pretty much, turn this down. Yeah, that'll be cool. Let's go ahead and layer that up. All right, so now we got that sparkle pad laid down. I went ahead and just kind of threw some EQ on it. Now I think it's time to start throwing in some percussion. I think we've got a big enough music bed, so I'm going to start with some snaps, and then we'll probably move to some kicks and claps a little bit later. What we'll probably do is build this up as a chorus and then just kind of go back and fill out a verse. So let's go ahead and drag in a snap. I think that'll work. So let's do something like this. All right, so I dragged in that disco snap 3 and then just turned it down 2. And I think I want one more kind of snap just to kind of layer over top. Maybe we'll go to maybe the hip hop. I got one in mind. Let's try something like this. So I'm just going to put this in all the same spots. So we got this snap kind of layered over. And I think what I want to do is I want to make this snap wide, so we're going to add Haas. So I've added Haas, and what this basically does is it'll spread it out and make it left and right. So we added Haas for width, and now we need to add something for some color, so we'll add some RC20. So I pulled up RC20. I pretty much always just use it on the vinyl setting and then kind of tweak my own settings. The main thing we're using this for is some noise, some distortion, and some space. Now we're starting to really work. I'm thinking the next thing that we need to add is some kind of kick element, because we have enough right here. We need to at least get some kind of backbeat in. So we'll add something and then we'll pull in a kick. So I kind of like something like that. It's spacey enough to where we've got enough room to work with an 808 and some hi-hats, but it definitely kind of drives the beat and drives the groove. So let's recap really quick, because we are pulling this up. So we've got a bunch of different kind of pads and chords and stuff over here. Now we've got a kick and some snaps. So let's add the next thing. I think now we can start kind of layering up claps. So this will probably be the chorus. So what we'll probably do is drop back to just the snaps in the verse and then layer up a clap right over here. So let's do that real quick. All right, so I just dragged in a pretty kind of generic hip hop kind of clap, and then I've kind of turned these snaps down. We'll turn them up in the verses, but now we have Now I think it's time that we add some hats. So for the hats, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up a sampler, and we're gonna call this hats. And I know that we have a pretty good hi-hat in here. Yeah, Trap Queenish. And the reason I like doing this in the sampler is because it'll pitch it so you can get those cool little hat rolls. And so typically for like trappy hats like this, I'll just kind of draw them in, and I'll kind of go straight to 16ths and just lay them down like this. And then I'll kind of just alternate them. So we'll have one hard and one not so hard. Let's try. Drop that back to 8th notes. Let's try that. All right, so what I'll do is I'll typically kind of lay down something basic like that, and then I'll swap these to 30-second notes and start to lay in some of those extra little, like right here. And I'll just do that in a couple different spots. All right, so I went in and kind of finessed these hats, so now we've got nothing crazy. And I think the next thing I want to do is add some of that Haas effect again. So I'll add some Haas to get some extra width. Then I'm gonna add some multipass, the setting that we always use. So we got the drum modulator right here. That's just gonna give us some extra frequency modulation that's a little bit fun and a little bit kind of spicy. And then we've got some EQ. Cool. And now the next thing I wanna do is add some open hats. So we'll go ahead and drag those in here. So I think what I'm gonna do is alternate between different open hats. So we'll have this open face and then this rock star. Cool, and then we'll kind of just keep that going throughout. Now, the drums are sounding really good. There's a couple extra elements that she has in a lot of her songs, and that's kind of those vintage drum machine style sounds. And we have some of those in the Disco Pop pack. We have, specifically, I think, something like that will work really well. We'll just have to put it in the key of the song. And then we're gonna need something like, yeah, something like that little digital rim right there. So let's do like a 16th. And let's pull in this. Cool. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and add a couple little EQs and kind of get these sitting right in the mix. All right, so now we got these sitting right in the mix. So total we have the next thing I think we need to add is we finally need to throw in some kind of 808. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll just pull up some Serum and then we'll pop a patch in there. Okay, so we got an 808 pulled up. It's just gonna be the Infant in one of our new packs, and then just gonna kind of follow along that kick. So now we pretty much have everything. We've got all this happening. There is a couple more things I think we need. I think we need some Pizzicato strings, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some of those. Okay, so we got some Pizzicato strings up, so I think I just wanna give it like a, just kind of following the chord progression. So let's do that real quick. And I think that's pretty much going to do it for this kind of chorus section right here. So now let's start just kind of building out the song after this. So let's go ahead and let's start kind of structuring out a verse. So what I'll do is I'll drag all this back. And then what I'll typically do is just kind of take a big stack of these like synth key sounds, and then let's go ahead and take some of these snaps and claps, maybe just the snaps actually for now, and let's see what we got. I think what I want to do immediately is get rid of those Pizzicato strings. They're a little bit abrasive right now, and I definitely need to get these main strings sitting way, way lower. I still kind of want them in there, but I definitely don't want them that noticeable. We do need a little bit of movement though, so I kind of want to do what those little Pizzicato strings were doing later, and I want to kind of put that on an organ. So I just pulled up this ballad organ in the Arturia B3. And I think that'll be kind of spacey enough and vibey enough to really not get in our way. So let me just go copy and paste some of these from over here. And let's see how that fits. That's giving me a little bit more movement. All right, now let's go ahead and let's add some of those like string hits that you're hearing in a lot of her songs, because we have these suspended strings that are just really low in the mix, but this is exactly why I called them long ahead of time, is I knew we were gonna have some that kind of came in. So typically what I'll do is I'll just kind of duplicate them because I like the EQ that's on these, and I'm probably gonna be swapping them out for the same kind of patch. So we'll just go to one of the short ones, and then we'll do something like this. Martelli marcato, Italiano. Alrighty, I think I like that better, being an octave down. Let's do the same thing with the cello. Now we got the violin and the cello in there. Let's go ahead and take a listen with those kind of down hits. The last thing I kind of want to add in these verses is some kind of extra little element. So you kind of hear these like little violin kind of tremolo trills coming throughout. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a little viola trill. So we'll just duplicate this. We're definitely going to want a whole tone trill. Let's do viola. We found these viola trills. So we'll just kind of layer some of those up. All right, so I went ahead and laid down a couple, and I also automated the expression, so you'll kind of hear. And let's hear what that sounds like in the actual context. They're really subtle, just kind of happening in the background for some extra little depth. So instrumentally, I think we're kind of rocking right now. What I kind of want to do is just copy and paste all this over one more time. Maybe give us a little bit of a pre-chorus, and then I'll kind of add some drums on top of that. I noticed in the Ariana Grande album, there's not this like really rigid kind of structure with dropouts and stuff like that. It kind of just progressively builds and builds, and her choruses are not really that huge. It's mostly just about the vocals, so she's not really doing anything super insane. So what we'll do is we'll kind of do this and then pull over some of these drums, and let's see what we're kind of working with. Let's go ahead and pull in that 808, and then what I like to do in verses is just shorten up the 808. So we'll do like. And I'm noticing it's sounding a little crowded right now, so let me try to mute these roads through these verses. I think I'm going to take those out for right now, and then I kind of want to pull in some of these staccato strings. Then we'll go ahead and drop it all out there, and then drag all of this over. And now I think we do have a basic structure. Now let's just add in some extra kind of hits and flourishes. So I went ahead and I just dragged in a couple different crashes and then actually reversed it. So we've got a little reverse crash into a hip hop crash. And then going into this chorus, we've got this. So same hip hop crash, and then we've just got this little disco transition. We've got those little chimes, and then this little guy right here. And that pretty much does it for that. The next thing, I think the last thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add some kind of intro. So let's go ahead and drag all of this back a little bit. That way we're not kind of stepping on our own toes. And then let's do. And I think what I want to do is add some RC20 right here. All right, so we've got this RC20. Again, just the vinyl with a couple different things kind of tweaked. We did go ahead and cut off a lot of highs and lows. And I'm thinking what I might do is just kind of open that up as everything comes in. So let's try that. All right. Now we've pretty much got the whole beat, so now we can actually just go on to writing and recording some of these vocals. Let's go ahead and write some vocals real quick so we can kind of get this working, and then I'll track them off video, throw them in, and we can kind of go over exactly how I tracked, processed, and kind of arranged the vocals. All right, so let's take a listen to the verse, and let's see if we get any kind of immediate melodies or flows. I'm going to play some piano along so we can kind of see if we can get some stuff working here. So I'm kind of liking that. Let's do I caught you looking my way. I caught you looking. And we have to make it, honestly, a little bit naughty and cheeky just because her entire album is like that. And I will be writing this from the female perspective. So it's going to get a little strange, but let's hop into it. I got you looking my way. Can tell by the look on your face. Yeah, there we go. Can tell by the look on your face. You're desperately wanting a taste. I got you looking my way. You wanting a taste. All right. So for this part, let's definitely go up. All right, so you desperately wanting a taste, but boy, you're down for the chase. Let's do, yeah. But boy, are you down for the chase. I got you looking my way. Can tell by the look on your face. You desperately wanting a taste. Boy, you're down for the chase. Yeah, let's do a little bit of a flow switch up here. Just because I don't want it to be too kind of overly repetitive. And since we're not really swapping anything with a production, we'll swap something with a melody. So let's do, I'll turn this down so I can kind of hear myself. Let's do, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your time. So let's do, I don't want to waste your time. Let's do sending all these mixed up signs. I don't want to waste your time sending all these mixed up signs. I know what I like. There we go. Let's do, I don't think it's such a crime. So now we have, I got you looking my way. Tell by the look on your face. You're desperately wanting a taste, but boy, you're down for the chase. I don't want to waste your time sending all these mixed up signs. I know what I like. I don't think it's such a crime. And then I think we'll go into like a pre-chorus kind of there. So let's just fill out this last line. Let's do, I don't think it's such a crime. If we go skipping all the lines. So this is like a very like no bullshit, I'm trying to take you back to my place. That's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm kind of wanting a melody that's gonna start before and then we'll kind of like flow into this next part just to kind of act as its own natural transition. All right, let's see what we can come up with flowing into this. There we go. Let's get that kind of cool. So let's pull this up. I don't want to say goodbye now. I just want to treat you right now. There you go. Want to take you back to my house. And then we could either put something here or maybe do some kind of vocal run. Kind of just want to do a run right there. Like a something like that. Like a very Ariana Grande kind of thing. So I'm cool with all this. So let's kind of fly through the chorus. Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page, and let's do, you got me losing all control. There we go. And you got me going crazy. There we go. Let's do a second part. Now I know you got this craving. Let's do something a little cheekier. I'm kinda into misbehaving. So tie me to the headboard, baby. And that's about as graphic as I'm gonna get on this tutorial. And let's do, let's do. So I kind of want something that's going to spill into this little post-chorus. So let's make dirty secrets no one ever knows. I think that's going to be it. So we've got I Caught You Looking My Way. So this is all A rhyme scheme. B, 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 C, 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 D, 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 E, F, 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 G. That's it. So it's a pretty simple kind of flow and melody. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down some vocals. I can't do it right now with the actual mic tracked on here. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll pop in to actually see what this sounds like with some actual tracked and processed vocals. All right, so I got some vocals tracked. So we have some kind of intro ad-libs over here that I'll kind of show you. They're really not doing anything. It's just this kind of like little run, and then I processed it with a lot of reverb and delay. So we've got something like this.
I caught you looking my way, yeah, can tell.
All right, so for the verses, we decided to just do one lead vocal. I noticed on her new album, it's much more stripped back with vocal production. It's mainly one throughout the entire song. Then on the choruses, she'll have some duplicates coming in on the left and right, but they're not even super hard panned. And she really just has these kind of like vocal stacks that come in kind of sporadically, and those are pretty wide and loud. So for the main vocal, we're just doing the usual suspects, so some auto-tune, some EQ, some compression, some multiband compression, and then the 2A, DS, and some Pro Q. Really nothing outside of the ordinary, so I'm not gonna like dive into the actual vocal mix a ton, but we've got this right here.
I caught you looking my way, yeah, can tell by the look.
So we've got that one kind of main vocal happening throughout the verse, and then we've just got these little ad-libs right here. Of course, you had to hit them with a yup.
Yeah, wanting a taste, down for the chase. I don't.
All right, so let's actually break down into probably what you want to know about the vocal production, and that is some of these extra stacks. So I'll go ahead and play the vocal solo so you can kind of hear everything. So in the verse, we kind of have the lead and then the ad-lib.
I caught you looking my way, yeah, can tell by the look on your face. Desperately wanting a taste, but boy, are you down for the chase. I don't want to waste your time.
So she does stuff like that a lot, where she'll kind of like accent a word, but she'll kind of turn that into its own little kind of riff. So we've got 2 tracks of this. Then we've got 2 tracks of this. So similar, just in a little bit different tonality. Then we've got that, then we've got this. So now we've got all of those. And then that comes in again.
Sending all these mixed up signs, I know what I like. I don't think it's such a, but boy, are you down for the chase. I know what I like.
And then again right here. So that's pretty much all the vocal production we have through the verses, and then this pre-chorus is just one with these little ad-libs.
Wanna say goodbye now. I just wanna treat you right now. Wanna take you back to my house, yeah.
And then we go into the actual chorus, which has a lot more stuff going on. So now we have this.
Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your.
So let's actually break these down. So we have the main vocal, and then I get this question a ton, even though we address it all the time. When you go to do a vocal up to center and then a vocal over to the left and over to the right, you have to retrack those every single time. So it's not just duplicating the track. I'll duplicate the settings on the track, but I have to actually sing that line again. So I had to sing this kind of lead melody 3 different times, and then I actually only had these panned about 65%.
Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page. You got me losing all control. Now I know you got this craving.
So we've got that, and then we've got this harmony right here, and the harmonies only come in on these key accents.
Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page. You got me losing all control. Now I know you got this craving.
Then we did the same thing with another stack of harmonies, so we've got these.
Going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page.
And then again, we did it with one more harmony stack.
Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page, and you got me losing all control. Now I know you got this craving. I'm kinda into misbehaving, so tell me to the headboard, baby. Let's make dirty secrets no one ever knows.
And the real key to that Ariana Grande sound is to have the vocal and then the main kind of duplicates not super wide, and then when those extra kind of flourishes and harmonies and big stacks come, those are wider and more wet than the actual lead vocals. And that pretty much does it for the whole song. So if you want, I'll break down the vocal processing really quickly, just so you can kind of see that. So we have auto-tune, it's just set to the key of the song, not doing anything. And then I actually cut these off super hard because I was getting some like rumbling room noise, and I don't really have anything down here that's... I'm not really missing any of that, so I cut all that out and then kind of notched out some of these areas. Process that with a Neve style compressor or a Neve style EQ into an 1176 style compressor.
Control. Now I know you got this.
Then I just use some C4 to kind of tame the low end.
Crazy. I've been reading your mind lately.
And just kind of step on everything else just a little bit. And then we've got the 2A.
You got me going crazy.
Tons of compression on that because it's a pretty kind of not super dense arrangement, but you definitely don't want those vocals doing anything wild. And then just a de-esser from the RX series.
Going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page.
And then just notching out some different kind of room nodes and nodes in my voice that I didn't love. And then some dynamic stuff happening on the low end. So before any of the processing, we have this.
Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page, and you got me losing all control. Now I know you got this craving. I'm kinda into misbehaving. So
and then we can go ahead and talk about the two main sends. Most of the sends are what we always do, but we did a little something different on this long reverb. We use this like vocal hall. I noticed that she used a really long but kind of dull reverb throughout most of her album. So it's a 2.5 second reverb, and we filtered out most of this. And that's kind of the main reverb sound, and then we kind of notched out any of those weird kind of honky mid frequencies that were shining through. And then for the delay on this, we actually swapped the H delay that we normally use for a repeater on the tape delay mode, and then just kind of filtered that out as well, and then sent that to the reverb. And then that's just mixed with like a slap delay, short room, and then just like the Roland Dimension D.
Got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately.
And everything is pretty much processed the same, but some of these harmonies are a little bit more wet and they don't have the straight up stereo effects like the slap delay, the short reverb, and the parallel widening. That's pretty much it for all the vocal processing. We went pretty light on this. We do a lot of vocal processing stuff on the channel already, and there was a lot of other stuff to cover, so I didn't want to focus too much on it. But that's going to do it for the whole song. Let's go ahead and listen to the entire thing as one.
Caught you looking my way, yeah. Can tell by the look on your face. Desperately wanting a taste. Boy, are you down for the chase? I don't wanna waste your time. Sending all these mixed up signs. I know what I like. I don't think it's such a crime if we go skipping all the lines. I don't wanna say goodbye now. I just wanna treat you right. Wanna take you back to my house. Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading your mind lately. I think we're on the same damn page, and you got me losing all control. Now I know you got this craving. I'm kinda into misbehaving, so tell me to the headboard, baby. Let's make dirty secrets no one ever knows.
And that's going to do it for how to make an Ariana Grande song. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff that goes into this. Tons of strings, tons of little plucks and ambient sounds. The drums are pretty straightforward, kind of hip-hop drums, but it's all about meshing those styles. That's really what she's done on the last couple albums. She's really been mixing that kind of hip-hop trap aesthetic with some of the more R&B kind of polished pop aesthetics. So if you can find a way to kind of link these together and you can find a really good chord progression and some really good samples and sounds to kind of go with, I think that you could easily make something that would sound like it would go on her album. All of the songs were pretty pretty sparingly produced. They're all pretty simple, so there's nothing insane going on. But if you have any more questions about a specific kind of thing that she does on the album, or a specific instrument, or you have any questions about what we did today, definitely let us know in the comments below and we'll help you out however we can. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video. Again, if you liked it, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tons of work goes in and we really appreciate the support. If you want to support the channel, head over to makepopmusic.com and check out all of the stuff we have on there. That's going to be it for now, and we will see you guys next week. Much love, everybody. Peace out.
Now you got me going crazy. I've been reading you on my lately. I think we're on the same damn page.